Good morning, class 8. Welcome back for English 1 class. Now we'll be studying lesson number 16, verbs. We had started this chapter in the previous video. Now we are going to continue this chapter. Children, in this video we are going to learn more about verbs, right? Like in previous chapter, we learned about the verbs in simple way. Like verbs are the action words. But in this video we are going to learn verbs are finite as well as non-finite. Okay? Children, please note it down that finite verbs are main verbs, linking verbs and auxiliary verbs. Please note it down. You should have your notebooks with you to note each and everything which will be mentioned in this video. Right? Finite verbs can be classified into main verbs. Main verbs are also called principal verbs. Right? They can be linking verbs. Linking verbs are also called verbs of incomplete predication. Third is auxiliary verbs. Auxiliary verbs are also called helping verbs. And auxiliary verbs are further divided into primary auxiliaries and modal auxiliaries. Please note it down. Right? Then, if we talk about non-finite verbs are either infinitives, gerunds or participles. Clear? Now come back to this word finite verbs. Children, finite verbs are those verbs which are limited by person, number and tenses. Okay? They are limited means they can be controlled or they change with person, number or tense. They change according to person, number or tense. Right? Then when we talk about non-finite verbs, they do not change according to person, number or tenses. Clear? Now I am going to explain you this in detail later on. First, let's discuss these points. What are main verbs? Children, main verbs. Come over here. Now, main verbs are also called principal verbs and they are also called lexical verbs. Just keep in your mind. It's a name. Main verbs are also called lexical verbs. Right? Now, what are these? First of all, remember, main verbs come after subject. They express physical action. Right? They are very active. They provide information. They function as main verb. Please note it down. Principal verbs or main verbs come after a subject, express physical action, provide information and function as main verb. Now take this example. First example is Ram gave me a pen. Right? What is the subject in this sentence? Subject is Ram. Right? And what is the verb? Verb is gave. So you can see immediately after a subject we have a word which is a verb. It's an action word. Therefore, this is considered to be a main verb. Right? Similarly, in second sentence, he played football. Now, he is subject and immediately after it we have verb. Okay? This is active verb which we call main verb. Similarly, the lion roars. Roars is a verb and the lion is subject. So immediately after verbs come after a subject and they express physical action as well as they provide information. Clear? Now children, you can see the examples of main verbs are play, give, run, hit, roar. So these are all the active words and you can have more number of verbs like this. Right? Just note it down. Discuss about linking verbs. Now what are linking verbs? Linking verbs are also called verbs of incomplete predication. Okay? And they can also be called copular verbs. Now I'll give you some example. First of all, I'll give you example. Ram plays with football. Okay, this is a sentence. Ram is playing with football. Okay, take these sentences. Now I just want to explain you about the subject and predicate that you know very well. This is subject, and this part, the part which tells us about the subject, is called a predicate. This is subject, the part which tells about the subject is predicate. I hope everyone knows about it. Rest, I'll explain you over here. Now what are linking verbs? Linking verbs are those verbs which connect the subject of a sentence to a word or a phrase. Now remember, what is phrase? Phrase is a group of words. So that means linking verbs act as a link to the subject of a sentence to a word or a phrase. Second point is, it gives information about subject. So linking verbs give information about subject. Clear? And third point is, this is first point. Okay, this is, you can just A, this is B part, and this is C. You need a word or a phrase to complete its sense. Just be very careful with it. So linking verbs do not make a complete sense without an object. Okay, it needs a word or a phrase to complete its sense. I'll explain you how. First, you just take a list of linking verbs. Please note down. These are the examples of linking verbs. Is, am, are, was, were, get, feel, appear, become, look, seem, grow, taste. Children, although these are all verbs, but these verbs do not do any physical action. Right? These verbs do not do any physical action. They are inactive verbs. Therefore, their work is to just link a subject to the rest part of sentence. Clear? Now take this example. I slept. Children, this sentence doesn't have an object. This verb doesn't have an object. I mean to say, I slept. So this is subject, this is verb. It doesn't have an object. Object is missing over here. But you can see the sense of the sentence is clear without an object. That means without an object, this sentence gives a complete sense. Though this verb is intransitive. A verb which does not follow an object, which does not have an object, is called intransitive verb. This verb is intransitive, but without an object it makes some sense because this verb is active. Right? Now check these verbs. The earth is. If we do not have this part, if we hide this part, the earth is what? Earth is what? If we write the earth is, it doesn't make complete sense. The verb does not give a complete meaning without a word. So we add a word to it, and if you write the earth is round, hence the sentence becomes complete. Similarly, honey tastes. If you hide this, honey tastes what? It doesn't make complete sense without a word over here. So it needs a word to complete sense. So we have added honey tastes sweet. Similarly, he seems. If you hide this, he seems what? He seems happy. The cycle is what? Of no use. So you see children, over here we have added a word and a phrase to make the sense clear of a sentence. So these words are called complement to the verb. What are they called? They are called complement. This complement. Now as you can write over here, these verbs are these words used are complement. Right? These are all complement. Clear? Now when a complement says something about the subject, what is round? You question, You question what? Now what is round? Earth. The earth. What is sweet? What tastes sweet? Honey. Who seems happy? You can also add who. Who seems happy? He. Okay. What is of no use? The cycle. So these words, they say something about the subject. These are all subject. So they say, these complement says something about the subject. Hence these are called subjective complement. What are they called? Subjective complement. Why are they called subjective complement? Because they say about subject. They say something about subject. Clear? Please note it down. Note each and everything as it is, so that you can understand and explain yourself. Now these are the examples. Now children, please note it down. The structure of, therefore, the structure of a sentence is always subject plus linking verb plus subjective complement. See, subject, then this is link plus linking verb plus subjective complement. This is the structure of a sentence, right? And this subjective complement can be a noun, adjective, participle, pronoun or infinitive. Please refer to this topic in your textbook. Clear? Then next is, now take this sentence. Ram plays football. Okay. Now this is subject, this is verb and this is object. So a verb, when a verb has an object, such verbs are called transitive verbs. Okay. Transitive verbs always need they need object. All the transitive verbs have an object. But there are some transitive verbs, they require some complements also. It's not only the linking verbs, the transitive verbs require a complement. Right? Now, over here you just note it down. But some transitive verbs require some complements besides their objects. Take this example. The parents named her Sita. Right? The parents is subject. Named is verb. Okay. Her is already an object. But over here we have just added one more. We have added a complement to this sentence. Okay. So this complement, who is Sita? Sita refers to her. The word her. Therefore, when a complement says something about an object, it is called objective complement. Remember, when a complement, this is a complement added. Okay, this is complement. When this complement says something about the object, it is called objective complement. Another example is, success made him mad. Right? Success made him. Now up till here, this is an object, right? And mad is a complement to this object. Hence, mad is objective complement. So, objective complements say something about the object. Please learn it properly. Next, children. Now you know very well, some transitive verbs take one object. Can you give an example? Like, the horse kicked a man. Okay. Now this is subject, this is verb and this is object. So this verb is transitive and this verb takes only one object. Right? But some transitive verbs take two objects. Right? I will take an example. She told Nina a story. Right? She is subject, this is verb, this is object, and this is another object. We have two objects over here. So this transitive verb has taken two objects. Now children, remember, when we talk about two objects, one object is direct and other object is indirect. So there are two objects. One is direct, I'll write here, direct object and indirect object. Direct object and indirect object. Now children, how can you identify a direct object over here? Okay, now I'll give you a clue. She told Nina what? What did she tell Nina? What? When you question yourself, what or who? Okay, whatever answer you get, she told Nina what? A story. So a story is direct object. Story is direct object. Is it clear to you? Story is direct object. And question yourself, to whom? To whom? Okay, she told a story to whom? That is Nina. So Nina becomes indirect object. So if you want to find out direct object, question yourself who or what. Then you get direct object. Question yourself to whom. Whatever answer you get is indirect object. Clear? Then next is, some objects are also called cognate objects. Remember, some objects are also called cognate objects. Now what are these cognate objects? These express similar ideas as a verb used in a sentence. I'll give an example. She sang a beautiful song. Now can you see similarity somewhere? This is a verb and this verb has a similar idea, is expressed over here as an object, right? So this is called a cognate object. Why is it called cognate object? Because this word expresses similar idea as a verb, right? I'll give you another example. I dreamt a beautiful dream. Now this is verb, this is an object. So this object is cognate object because this object has a similar idea as the word dream. Clear?